You are,
His parents, William Tyrell, his dad, oh, sorry, and this is his mom, Rosanna Tyrell.
are you familiar with what he did today?
We're familiar with what they said. We don't agree that that's right. We also agree that he, I don't know, he's being held accountable for things that aren't really applicable in this case. You know, and he's,
I'm asking him not to use drugs or alcohol.
I know.
That's all I'm asking him to do. And he's constantly testing positive, and now he's taking a Whizzinator into the room.
Did you catch that? He tried sneaking in a Whizzinator, a fake device to cheat drug tests. Judges hate this move. It doesn't just prove addiction, it proves deception. Audience, would you lock him up on the spot for that stunt?
Well, it's wrong. No, we don't want.
He can be charged criminally for that. That's an offense in and of itself. Falsifying your drug test, it's a Class B misdemeanor. You're facing another 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
What about, I mean, our concern and his concern is simple. This girl.
I'm not,
I know.
no, we're not talking about the case. We're talking.
What is the case?
No, we're talking about the ability to remain clean and sober, first and foremost. We're not even talking about the case at this point. We're only talking about remaining clean and sober. He's repeatedly been unable to do that. And now he's trying to fool us.
Well, he has an issue that we know.
May I
You
say
know.
something, Ron? Okay.
I think what needs to happen is I think the first thing you need to do is you need to talk to your lawyer before you make any statements.
Yes, sir.
The only thing I'm going to say is that I'm extremely upset, disappointed, and taking him into custody. You know,
The judge isn't sugarcoating here. He basically says, keep this up, and you'll be 70 years old still in and out of custody. That's not just sentencing talk. That's a wake-up call.
you've repeatedly failed to appear for court. You've repeatedly tested positive for a lot of substances, and now you're trying to fool us yet again. It's unacceptable, and there has to be accountability. And you need to accept that you can't continue to do what you're doing, Mr. Tyrell. You're digging yourself into a hole that you cannot crawl out of. This monkey on your back will be there for the rest of your life. And if you don't get out of it now, you're going to be 70 years old with the continual on your back, in and out of custody. You're so messed up right now, you can barely open your eyes, man.
Your Honor.
And I don't know if you're enabling it or you're closing your eyes because of the love that you have as a father. But
He has severe ADHD and severe Tourette syndrome. And we put him in a recovery center, and we told them, we sent them the documentation. They told us every day they were getting the medication they ever did. Never did. Until they finally refused to answer my phone calls because I kept calling him up what he needs to be on. I said, this ADHD medicine robs him of his chemicals and his dopamine chemicals in his brain. And he goes, he uses drugs to put them back. And I said, the Tourette's makes him not make good decisions. It's not a good
Now the parents step in with a medical defense: ADHD, Tourette's, chemical imbalance. This is the classic courtroom tug-of-war. Is it a health issue or a personal choice? Where do you stand? Should courts lean more on treatment or punishment?
combination. And they said, yes, that's the case in almost many drug addicts with ADHD. And they wouldn't fix it, right? And so I got pretty upset with him because he got out and he had a pill bottle that he got the day he got out. They had never given him any pills the entire time he was there for these things. So I agree that it's a bad problem and a wrong problem, but I also agree it's not entirely his fault because he's got a chemical imbalance that nobody is addressing and never has. He's had this since he was a young child. They've addressed his Tourette's, but they've never addressed the ADHD. And I didn't know until I spoke to a doctor a week ago, or a couple of weeks ago, before he went into the rehab, and the doctor said, they said, so he's got ADHD, and I said, yeah, and he says, does he have a problem with drugs? And I said, yeah, and he goes, why isn't he on Ritalin? And I go, what do you mean? He says, that's what Ritalin is for. And if he was speaking apparently from personal experience, so we tried to get him on Ritalin. They wouldn't do that because it's a substance itself, and they said that he could be abusing that substance. So we tried to get him on a secondary substance that's non-abusive. We have fought for weeks, months, and we can't. We finally got him a prescription just as he's now out and back in trouble. So I only beg that we don't want him on drugs, right? But we understand that maybe there's some underlying compassionate issues, right? And I mean, I'd like to be the same, but that doesn't work.
And it pains me because I think that as a father and as a mother, due to love, a lot of times, and I don't know necessarily you, but people tend to kind of shut their eyes and become naive to the fact that they're using, and I'm not talking about marijuana. I'm talking about cocaine. I'm talking about meth.
Be careless. He's got a license for marijuana.
So regardless.
Smart move by the judge, ordering a clinical evaluation. This shifts the case from punishment to figuring out what's really driving the drug use. But here's the kicker. Honesty in these evaluations can make or break your future.
Any heavy drugs, cocaine or anything that's going to cause him a lifelong problem, no. I want him off of that stuff. But he's been in rehab 3 or 4 times. That doesn't really work. So I don't know what does work.
You gotta want it. One of the main things is you gotta want it. But be that as it may, he's trying to fool us, and it's unacceptable. And there has to be accountability for it. I can't just let him go when you're using a Whizzinator to try to fool us. It's unacceptable, and there has to be accountability. And the problem is that I think that what we need to do now is have him evaluated by our clinicians to see how we go forward. Okay. So what I'd like to do is, while he's in custody now, I can have it done in a very expedited manner. I can have it done within, today's Tuesday? We can hopefully have a report back by Friday to see, at the latest Monday, to see how we go forward. Our clinicians can talk to him, and if he's honest, figure a way to go about doing this. And I'm going to tell you now, while I have him here, I can pay everything for you, so you don't have to pay for a dime. If you're on the outside, though, I can't pay for it.
We can forward you doctor's records and things like that.
My only concern and the only thing I want now is our clinicians to be able to speak to him to see where we go forward. Mr. Tyrell, I'm going to have you what's called TRAS to see, it's an evaluation to see where we go from here. If we get this TRAS back and it tells me that your little bunny's jumping in the woods and that there's no problems, then I know that you weren't honest, and I'm going to make you go do it right back again. And we're going to continue to do it until you're honest. But, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself. You can't be like this forever. At some point, you're going to be a habitual, and you're looking at 25 to life.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience, but
you don't have to. And I'm really, truly sorry.
He did man up and come in. He wasn't going to. We had to fight with him and beg with him. He didn't.
To come in.
He didn't want to.
Of course. No one wants to go to jail.
And because I said, he's not going to put you in jail. He goes, yes, he will. And I said, no, he has a heart. He's not going to put you in jail. He knows that you have a problem. The problem is the issue.
Notice the clash? Parents blame untreated conditions. The court pushes accountability. This is where the justice system often splits between compassion and consequences. Which side do you think will win here?
Stopping the thing that's causing this is the issue.
Your last name, Mr. Tyrell?
Yes.
We've tried that. I gave him to you.
But he didn't. We tried it, but like I said, the underlying cause, which we've only just recently found, or found that it made it, they've never treated.
I understand.
And so here he's untreated and still being treated like it's a normal case, and it's not really.
I tried. I've given him back to you guys. I've asked him repeatedly to stay sober and not use, and he continues to do so. No matter how many times I give them to you,
That's being caused by something.
it's going to continue, and you have to realize it. And if you think that just him saying, okay, I'm gonna stop, or the Ritalin is gonna make it stop,
As for many people.
it may have. And yes, it may have.
So how long are you putting him in for?
I don't know. For now, would like to have him TRAS to see where they go. My feeling is that they're probably going to say that he needs inpatient rehab,
He's already been to.
not in the jail.
Yes, he has. You sentenced him to that last year. Why, Mac?
I don't have, we didn't put him in WIMAC. Did we do WIMAC with him?
But they never actually treated the symptoms either.
So we have other, if WIMAC didn't work, we have other facilities that we can go to. And we've got at least 3 to 4 different facilities, and we can continue to put them into each facility until it takes.
He has this felony case that this case is associated with this next week. Yeah. Of which
So
we're
will they
hoping,
release
we're hoping gets thrown out of court.
They have also facilities as well to help treat as well. We both do, and we both have facilities. They have more resources than we do because there are more serious cases up there, so they have quite a bit of more resources.
It does look like he went to WIMAC, but that's mainly to address like this criminal attitudes and thinking. Now,
It was for drugs because he was on probation for drugs. That's why he was.
No. What she's saying is that
the program that he went to was supposed to address like this thinking, attitudes, and things. So now we're gonna assess him now that we know that he has mental health issues and as well as substance use problems.
It went last time because of substance abuse. That was what it was for.
no, but she's saying no.
She said no, but this time it's
Well, I think, Judge, they might be referring to the deferred was adjudicated based off of drug violations. He tested positive for many times for drugs. That's why his guilt was adjudicated in that case in this court. I think that may be what they're referring to.
Yeah, it was because he was on probation for drugs. And they actually, put him in there. And then, when he came, he couldn't even get his lawyer when he came to court. He got a court-appointed lawyer when he had a lawyer. It was paid for. And twice. And it was very frustrating to us that he doesn't seem to be getting fair treatment. It seems like he's being held as an example and be given as an example and not being given fair treatment. And
How is he not being given fair treatment? Tell me.
I just really wanted, my wife is not going to be happy if I.
Well, no, but it seems like you're blaming me for the situation,
no, sir. What we're trying to say that he never got an assessment for the mental issues.
And they were told over and over again. I wrote
They.
the court officials, the probation officers, everyone was told that he had these issues and problems. They did nothing about it. Okay, his attorney brought paperwork to the court, Mike Mull.
Yeah, just we gave him the paperwork with all the.
Nobody did anything about it.
it.
So we keep going, you guys keep blaming this stuff, but you just keep holding him up as an example and punishing him, and we never try to find out what's the problem here.
Put people in jail when they violate conditions, when they do something against the law. We don't willy-nilly put people in jail for S and giggles. We don't do that here.
So why is
If
there?
someone has a true problem, then we give them the opportunity to try to do things on their own. When it becomes evident that they're unable to, that's when we try to step in. I don't do this out of hate.
Outside of he, we know that he has a problem, but outside of that, like he has a felony charge, they aren't giving these bond requirements. And this misdemeanor court is giving these bond requirements, when the felony court is not.
I
So,
can't tell you what the felony court, I want to make sure that he's not using alcohol or drugs.
it has nothing to do with this case.
How do you know that?
Judge, there are facts in this case that do indicate that there were crack pipes recovered from the defendant. And that's most likely why.
How do you know that he's charged with a felony assault? He's charged with interference with emergency request for assistance. How do you know that the drugs and alcohol that are using did not impact this.
Because he was sound asleep. All right, and she stuck a machete through his TV.
Not the
She, okay, I know, we're not
No,
supposed
I
to
mean,
talk about it. I apologize.
look.
It just feels very wrong.
I know that you see through the eyes of a loving father, and I'm not going to fault you for that. I get it, and I understand that, and I'm sorry. I really am. But I think that the best thing for him now is in a facility that he doesn't have access to drugs or alcohol. And I'm trying to do my best.
And boom, bond revoked, set at 20 grand. Translation: freedom now comes with a huge price tag. Quick poll: do you think raising bond actually helps stop drug use, or just punishes the family's wallet?
To keep him clean and sober. He tried to fool us now by using a Whizzinator.
This is why he didn't want to come in here. He would rather be run, I mean, that's why he didn't want to come back.
Okay, and you can't run forever, Mr. Tyrell.
I know, I tell, but.
So it's better to man up and get it done now than to run forever and do some irreparable damage by taking something that you kill yourself, right? Because that's invariably what's going to happen. The dope that you're using, you're going to kill yourself. He can barely open his eyes, man. This
Boy, I'm listening to everything you're saying, sir.
You're so high right now, you can
I'm not
barely
high,
open your eyes.
I'm not high at all, actually, I'm
So-
sober. So, I mean, you can, at this point, I'm already in handcuffs, so it really doesn't fucking matter what I say.
No, he's not. I know, we've been with him for
Problem
2
is,
days.
and I'm going
So-
to ask you, just bear with me. I'm trying to do the best I can to keep him clean and sober so he doesn't pick up new cases.